There's a certain allure to a challenge. It whispers promises of triumph and grandeur. But sometimes it's all smoke and mirrors. Welcome to Dante's Inferno Ascent, or as the locals say, La Salita dell'Inferno di Dante, where those whispers turn into harsh truths, and every step feels like a battle against the very essence of discomfort. It all started deceptively simple, a shaded path wound its way through a canopy of trees, a cooling embrace on a blistering day. It seemed almost inviting, like the universe was giving you a break before the real madness began. Little did I know, the path was just the beginning of a cruel trick, a prelude to the inferno awaiting. As I pressed on, the path steepened, and so did the challenge. Each bend in the trail promised respite, but all it delivered was more ascent. The shade thinned, and the midday sun began its relentless assault. Sweat poured down like I had just stepped out of a shower, and the once cooling shade had transformed into a distant memory, replaced by an unforgiving glare of the sun. Every step seemed to sap more energy, and I started to feel like I was climbing not just a physical slope, but a steep incline to the very fabric of my endurance. I began taking more frequent breaks, clutching at my dwindling water supply like it was the last lifeline in a desert. On one side, the remnants of an old cable trolley system stood abandoned, its rusty patina slowly claiming the graffiti-scarred infrastructure. It was a ghost of a bygone era, a symbol of a failed promise to ease this climb. On the other side, the path seemed to pay tribute to failed adventurers. The crumbling remains of previous attempts were stark reminders of this climb's velocity, their stories written in the sweat and toil of those who had come before me. And then, just when it seemed like the ordeal couldn't get any worse, a lizard appeared, sunbathing on a granite rock, as if mocking the futility of my struggle. As I approached, it scampered away, its little eyes darting back at me with what looked like a mix of pity and apprehension. It was as if nature itself feared the cost of this climb. This small creature, in its sun-soaked realm, seemed to understand the price of perseverance. Its sudden disappearance felt like a warning, a reminder that the journey was far from over. Finally, the path opened up to a small clearing, and for a brief moment, joy surged through me. I had made it, or so I thought. The joy was short-lived. What lay ahead was a climb of 1,000 steps, placed there to tackle the increasing slope. In places, these steps were nothing more than flaking rock, a shadow of the staircase to heaven I had imagined. Each step was a reminder of the effort required to finish, and the stairs seemed to stretch endlessly before me, like a cruel joke played by the mountain itself. The effort of walking against gravity had reached its zenith. Each step felt like a new level of hell. My calves burned with every movement, my water reserves evaporating faster than my energy, and my pauses grew more frequent. The climb was no longer just about physical exertion, it had become a mental battle. In my exhaustion, my thoughts turned to my loved ones. How long will it take for them to realise that I was missing? Had I even told them about this infernal climb? The thought of them wondering where I was, the logistical nightmare of recovering my body if things went wrong, fueled my determination to finish. It was a dark contemplation amid the physical strain. And then, as if conjured by some twisted cosmic joke, I looked up through the sweat stinging through my eyes, and there it was, my mirage of salvation. The final step landing appeared like a waterhole oasis, a beacon of hope in my desert of struggle. To my right, there was the lizard again. It stood motionless, its eyes darting between me and the final step. For a fleeting moment, I could have sworn it smiled. My hidden companion had followed me, providing silent support, protection and guidance. Its presence, once an eerie coincidence, now felt like a celestial endorsement of my victory. And just like that, I reached the acme of Dante's Infernal Ascent. Exhausted, exhilarated and covered in sweat, I stood there triumphant, with the lizard as my unlikely witness. This climb was more than a physical challenge. It was a journey of endurance, a test of will and a stark reminder of the limits we push. The climb was over, but the memory of it, along with the image of that lizard, would stay with me forever. Dante's Infernal Ascent had been conquered, and in its harsh lessons I found profound sense of achievement.